Joining us now is Danon, the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations. Ambassador, good morning, sir. It's good to see you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about the events over the weekend, and let's talk about this also. Who's in charge in Iran right now? Anne-Marie's been talking about this all morning, the chain of command. Who's in charge?
Well, it's hard to tell. You know, they have the regime, which still has control over the population. But you see statements coming out. The Minister of Foreign Affairs is flying all over, sending threats to Israel, to the US. I don't think that Iran today is in a position to threaten anyone. They should think very carefully about the next steps, what they want to do, what they should do. You know, our position was very clear that we had the goal in this operation to degrade their capabilities. I think we achieved a lot so far. We still have more targets, but I think when you look at Iran today and you compare it to the last time I was here a week ago, it's a different ballgame. They don't have those capabilities over the reactors, and I think we were able to push back, significantly Iran, more than expected.
You were here just a little over a week ago, the morning after those first Israeli strikes started, and you said it would take days or weeks, this operation. We heard from the Prime Minister today, Benjamin Netanyahu, and he said they're very close to completing the goal of eliminating the dual threats, ballistic missiles and nuclear capabilities. Where are we on the timeline?
So I cannot give you exact dates, but I think, the main challenges we had, which were the nuclear reactors, the result of the U.S. attack are magnificent. The U.S. had the capabilities that we don't have. So on that issue, I can tell you that we achieved most of what we wanted. But still, you have the ballistic missiles, which is a major threat to Israel. It's important to know that we all speak about the nuclear threat, but when you have 1,000 ballistic missiles targeting Israel, it's a problem. So we took a lot of those launchers, but we still have more to go.
When it comes to nuclear facilities, though, this morning, the IDF said that they went after Fordo entrances and exits to make sure they were preventing the removal of these materials. How do you assess what Iran has right now in terms of their nuclear capabilities?
Well, Iran is a big country, and they were hiding a lot of the materials, and they were trying to move stuff. So we cannot guarantee the result. But when you look at the infrastructure, at the machine of terror that they built, and by the way, they spent hundreds of billions over the years, now it's not there. So we cannot guarantee 100% result, but we can tell they don't have those reactors. It will take them decades to rebuild it.
There is a question about how much regime change is part of what Israel is trying to do. We've heard President Trump discuss that as well. What's your sense of how much that's also one of the aims? Well,
I can tell you feelings. We all wish that there would be a regime change. For the people of Iran, they're victims of this regime, so we pray for that. But the question if it's the goal of the operation, I think, it's not our goal, and we heard President Trump also. It's very hard to tell the people of Iran what's good for them. They should decide, and I hope that they will take the right decision. They deserve better.
You're the ambassador to the United Nations. Earlier this year, Israel withdrew from the UN Human Rights Council following the U.S. in doing that. What role does the United Nations have to play in some of these negotiations at a time where people are wondering about its institutional relevance?
Well, I agree with you that they should think carefully. Yesterday, there was an emergency session of the Security Council, and some countries condemned the U.S. And I told them, where were you? All those years when they enriched the uranium, when they built the reactors, now you come and you condemn Israel and the U.S. So the UN should be much more effective. And basically, they allowed Iran to do what they did all those years. And I still believe in the UN, but I think the UN should be reformed. We expect the new U.S. ambassador to arrive soon. And I think that together we can change what's happening there.
There's a line that you used earlier in the conversation. You reflected on the U.S. capabilities, and you said that the US has capabilities that we don't have. And it raises a question that I think makes some people in this country uncomfortable. Did Israel start an operation knowing that they wouldn't be able to complete it without US involvement?
No, absolutely not. And I said it, I think, last time I was here. We have the capabilities. It will take longer. It will be more painful, but we can deal with the threats. So I think what the decision of the US was the right decision, because now it will be a shorter war, and I think it's much more effective.
How are you preparing for the retaliation?
So first, we have to acknowledge it's not easy for us. The entire country is not functioning today. People are not going to work. People stay next to the shelters. You talk about 9.5 million people for almost 2 weeks. It's heavy, but we are willing to continue as long as it takes. But we believe that as I said earlier, We achieved most of the goals. Now we have a few more things we want to take care of. And now it's up
What
to...
are those few more things?
Mainly the ballistic missiles. The industry, they built a huge infrastructure to produce ballistic missiles. They wanted to compete with the US and Russia, and they were very close to get there. So we want to make sure that it will be very hard for them to rebuild those capabilities.
These kind of ballistic missiles coming from Iran and their nuclear program, this is the point of the regime. Can you decimate their ballistic missile program, their nuclear program, without decimating the regime?
Well, we hope that they will not have the desire after what happened in the last 2 weeks, that they will understand that we will be there. If they will continue with aspirations to eliminate Israel, Israel will be there before they attack us. We learned the lessons after October 7th. We are not taking any chances.